month, and some of you, maybe you're dropping in on this one. So my name is Amanda Pintori. I'm one of the co-chairs, and I'll let my other co-chair introduce herself.
I'm Ashley Laverty, and I'm the other co-chair. I'm in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm in Lawrence, Kansas. So we've all probably had like a million meetings. So we're really excited to actually this is all about like building up your toolbox and seeing what other people are cooking. So before we jump into the jam, we do want you to say your names and just so that we know kind of who's in the room. I'm guessing, Ashley, I don't know how you feel about this. If we can't see your video, or I know a lot of people have audio and video off, maybe because they just want to be observers. So we want to ask those people to hop on to introduce themselves. So if we can see your video, then we are hoping you'll introduce yourself. And the way we'll do that is you'll just say who you are, and maybe if you'd like to say where you live, just so we kind of know where you're coming from or what organization, and then you'll volley it to someone else. So you can see everyone's names in the bottom left of their screen. So you'll just say, and I'm going to pass it to, and that way it's not that kind of awkward waiting of knowing who's going to talk next. Go. Okay. Okay. So I'm Amanda. I'm at Lawrence. I'm at the Lawrence Art Center in Lawrence, Kansas. Yeah, and I run our Theater Dance for the Very Young program there. Ashley.
Hi, I'm Ashley Laverty, she, her, hers. I'm in Chicago and artistic director of Kerfuffle, Theater for the Very Young company and freelance teaching artist. And I'm gonna pop it to Hallie. Hallie D. Oh no, is Hallie D frozen? Hallie D might be frozen. I'm gonna pop it to Patricia Zimmer.
Hello, hello. I am in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I work at Eastern Michigan University in the, can you hear me?
Yes.
In the Applied Drama and Theater for the Young program here, and have done some collaborations in TVYA along the way.
And then who do you want to pass it to?
Oh, and I will send it to Susan Pendleton.
Hello from British Columbia, Canada. I'm originally from Boston, went to NYU. I am founder, director of the Surrey Youth Theater Company. It's audition-based, not-for-profit, and ages 8 and up. However, we also do a storybook theater for preschoolers. So in lieu of that now, I've been storybook reading online, virtual, through, I have a little Winnie the Pooh corner in my house. So that's what I've been doing. And on to Grace. Hello, Grace.
Hi, I'm Grace Schiraldi. I live in Brooklyn, although I am in the Adirondacks of upstate New York right now. And there's a puppy in the room who's trying to get my attention. So I'll just put that out there. I work with, or I'm an independent teaching artist now. And I work with preschoolers through older adults who have dementia. So. And I'll pass it to Stephanie Romero.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I'm an elementary school theater teacher in New York, and I live in New Jersey. And I'm going to pass it to Amy Benson.
Hi, I'm Amy. I am in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I work as a teaching artist for Imagination Stage, along with a couple other gigs here and there. And I'm just about to start jumping back into online teaching, so I'm looking forward to learning some new tricks that I can use. I will pass it to Laura.
Let's see, I can't hear Laura. I don't know if other folks can. Let's see, Laura, we can't quite hear you, but it looks like you're not muted. This is the content. Oh, Laura in the chat is introducing themselves. I'm Laura in Queens, having tech issues today, sorry. Oh, and Hallie just introduced themselves as well. Let's see, Laura teaches all ages, K through 12. And then I'll read Hallie's too while we're here. Hallie's the Associate Artistic Director at Commonwealth Theater Center in Louisville, Kentucky. I can hear you just fine, but my camera and internet are being wonky. Looking forward to the game exchange. Thanks, typers, we appreciate you. Let's see, Laura, do you still want to pick who you're gonna loft it to? Yeah, Lisa.
Thank you, Laura. My name is Lisa. I'm in Los Angeles. Previously, I worked at Dallas Children's Theater for 10 years wearing so many different hats. But now in Los Angeles, I'm working in a preschool. I'm doing drama with 3- and 4-year-olds and also doing stuff with a Parent and Me toddler class. So that's where I am now. I will pass it to, let's see who didn't go yet. Dylan? Dylan.
Unmute myself. Hi, I'm Dylan Glanzer, and I'm living in Alexandria, Virginia. I work at Basis Independent McLean. It's a private school for 2 years old to 12th grade. And I currently teach drama, music, and movement for ages 2 through kindergarten. And I also do some directing for middle and upper school. I'll pass it to, did anyone not go? Pam?
Huh? Oh, hold on.
Pam, are you able to unmute yourself? Looks like tech issues.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me now? Okay, great. I'm on my phone and I'm having issues with it, so I apologize. Hi, I am Pam, and right now I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's see, I have been teaching K through 8 at a private school in Charlotte, but then made a mad dash across the pond and got a master's in applied theater in London. But I'm back now and doing some freelancing work and soon shifting to a position in Savannah with their Cultural Arts Center. Oh, and I will pass it to April.
Hi, I'm April Haran. I live on Long Island, but I work in Queens, New York, and I'm a K through 5 theater teacher, as well as K through 8 theater director and choreographer. And it would have been my show a few days ago, so my heart is broken, but we will go on. So nice to see you all. Thank you.
And will you waggle your fingers if you haven't gotten to introduce yourself yet, just so we don't miss anybody? Oh yeah, okay, lots of, let's see. Karina, do you want to go ahead and go next?
Hi, my name is Karina Dumars. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I worked at the Rose Theater in Omaha, Nebraska as a teaching artist and co-director of community outreach. But currently, I am in South Dakota. Let's see, Laura.
Hi, Laura Steenfeld. I'm a middle school drama teacher at the Latin School in Chicago. I also teach early childhood, kindergarten, and first grade every summer for the last 30 years. I'm not sure I'm doing it this year, but I figured I would come to collect some good new stuff for them. Thank you.
Jackie, go for it.
Oh, hello. My name is Jackie Comos, and I'm with Nashville Children's Theater in Nashville, Tennessee. That's my puppy, Bingley, who wants to go outside. And I've been teaching 3 to 5-year-old drama every day since March for the first time ever, and I've run out of games. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Cool. Who else hasn't gotten to, is it Julianne?
Hi, I'm Julianne, and I use she, her, hers, and I am the education administrator at Portland Stage in Portland, Maine. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, I know Naomi, you've been patient.
Patience is the name of the game, right? My name is Naomi Avadani, she, her, hers. I am a theater educator in New York. I teach pre-K through 8th grade theater.
All right, anybody else we missed? I'm scanning screens, I think we did it. Okay, y'all, let's see. Okay, perfect. All right, so here's how this is going to work. So every person, give or take, has like around 7 minutes. We have 5 people signed up today, but that does not mean if there's extra time and you want to be like, oh, I've done it with this and there's this add-on, that's certainly possible. In that like 7-ish minute frame, people are going to share it, and then we want to make sure you can ask questions if you want clarifications or modifications maybe for the specific young people you're working with. The first person who's going to go is Ashley. And when it's your turn, if you'll just let us know if there's anything specific you need from the group, otherwise you can just rock and roll.
Yay, I figured I'd go first and be the guinea pig. I have been teaching toddler yoga since end of March, twice a week. So I'm gonna share 2 hello songs with you. And it looks like Alexis is recording this. So I think, you know, if you love the tune of what I'm singing and want to watch the recording of it, but, you know, also you don't have to. Okay, so also, I think for this, like, you can stay on mute if you'd like, because the first song is a repeat after me song. So maybe it's just easier for you all to stay on mute. When I'm teaching toddler yoga, I have them all on mute for all these repeat after me type songs and games, which I remember Amy said that she takes them off mute, and we talked about this at the last meeting. But I think just for today, why don't we just stay on mute, and then you can sing really loud and proud your hello song in your own house. Okay, so the first one I use all the time in person, but I also use it virtual, but it's a really nice, like, calm, grounding song to start class. So everybody do what I do. Wiggle your fingers and repeat after me. Hello with fingers. Hello with hands. Hello with elbows. Hello, hello. Very nice. Now, who has an idea for another body part that we could say hello with? If you have an idea, put your hand like this. Oh, Karina. Karina, can you unmute yourself? What body part?
Our nose.
Our noses. All right. So Karina says our noses. Does someone else have an idea? Who else has an idea for a body part? Lisa?
Shoulders.
Our shoulder, says Lisa. Karina says our nose. Lisa says our shoulders. And Naomi?
Similar to shoulders. I was going to say necks.
Oh, very nice. I would like to omit my necks. Awesome. So our noses, our shoulders, and our necks. I'm just going to scoot back a little bit. All right, everybody, repeat after me. Hello with noses. Hello with shoulders. Hello with necks. Hello, hello. Yeah, very nice. And then obviously we could keep going and we could go on and on and on. And I've seen people facilitate it that, you know, you could sing it 3 times in a row with just the body parts you come up with. You could ask for a new one and then sing a whole round just about your nose. So like I said, I use that in person, and I was using it for my toddler yoga class. And then I was like, well, I feel like we really need to like move our bodies a little bit more. So I now lead this one every day for yoga. And this is like sing along with me, and you'll catch on. Everybody, it also starts with wiggling our fingers. So everyone do what I do. And when you think you know the words, please sing along. Here we go. We're gonna wiggle, wiggle, wiggle our fingers, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle our fingers, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle our fingers to say hello to our friends. All right, we're gonna shake our hands. Here we go. We're gonna shake, shake, shake our hands. Shake, shake, shake our hands. Shake, shake, shake our hands to say hello to our friends. We're going to roll our shoulders. We're gonna roll, roll, roll our shoulders. Roll, roll, roll our shoulders. Roll them to the front. Roll, roll, roll our shoulders to say hello to our friends. I'm gonna scoot back, and if you have room and you would like to do that too, you can. I'm gonna put my legs out in front of me because we are going to bounce our knees. We're gonna bounce, bounce, bounce our knees. Bounce, bounce, bounce our knees. Bounce, bounce, bounce our knees to say hello to our friends. And last but not least, we're gonna kick our feet. Here we go. We're gonna kick, kick, kick our feet. Kick, kick, kick our feet. Kick, kick, kick our feet to say hello to our friends. And then I would ask for other body parts. On Zoom with my 3 and 4-year-olds, they are very successful at sharing what body part to share. Usually I'm the one who's like, okay, let's shake it or wiggle it or tiptoe our feet or kick our feet. I haven't had as much success saying like, and what verb should we do too? But definitely lots of success with like shaking our booties or our tushies and stomping our feet and tiptoeing our toes, and we wiggle our noses, and sometimes we stretch our tongues, and we do all kinds of things. And it's a really good, I mean, my heart's beating pretty fast. So it's a nice physical, like, get 'em moving and grooving hello song. And that is are my songs. I put a timer on, Amanda, so we have like 1 minute. If anyone wants to like throw anything out, I think we could also like type in the chat before we move on to Lisa. But before we do that, does anyone have any like thoughts or anything?
Just for my notes, what is the tune of the song for that second one? Like, isn't it a nursery rhyme or, yeah, what's that tune?
Yeah, I did a conglomeration of like lots of songs that I had heard before.
It's, I figured it out. I had to hum it to myself. It's Shake Our Sillies Out. We're going to shake,
yes.
shake. It took me a while.
Thank you. Cool. And we can always have a chat too. Oh, and that's my timer. Perfect. So next up is Lisa.
Hi. Okay, I'm gonna jump right in so we maximize the time. So with my 3 and 4-year-olds in my drama class, we had focused on the If You Give series of books, especially If You Give a Moose a Muffin. So if you know it, you probably know where I'm going with this. You know, he makes puppets, sock puppets and sets, and we did all that in class, but then we kind of had to finish it at home. But I think it would still finish how we were going to use the puppets at home, still translate well, because all you need is a sock or even a stuffy. You know, or their hands, right? They can't get a sock. I mean, my son who's 6, when he's asked in his virtual PE to go find something, they say on your mark, get set, go. And they love that too. Go find a sock, on your mark, get set, go. Something like that. Anyway, I'm going to show you the chants that we were doing that did translate well to the Zoom when we did it. So first, we're going to play hide and seek with our puppets. And behind your back, everybody's puppets behind their back. Here we go. Puppet friends behind my back, sitting so still. Will they come out? Yes, they will. Okay, now I'm going to go back one more time because I want you all to say yes, they will with me. Here we go. Play hide and seek with your puppets behind your back. Puppet friends behind my back, sitting so still. Will they come out? Yes, they will. They look to the left. They look to the right. They look straight ahead and pop out of sight. And that's it. You can repeat that as many times as they're interested. The second one, I can type this up for you later too, if that helps. Okay. The other one is something I found on the internet and adapted because we were doing all the If You Give books. So, and you can't really, with my headphones, you won't be able to see me that well. But then you just also take your puppets, and I would end the one I just did and go right into this. Tap your legs and clap, making a beat. Cookies and milk, muffins and jam. Let's say hello as fast as we can. Hello, 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 hello. Cookies and milk, muffins and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Cookies and milk, muffins and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Okay, this is their favorite, of course. Hello. Okay, so you get the gist. You could go on. Quiet, soft, and then you would do eating. And I would do all the food from the If You Give books. Let's eat donuts, let's eat cookies, pancakes, muffins, whatever it is. As fast, as loud, as slow, as messy, as polite, as whatever. Anyway, that's it. Those are my 2 songs. Chants, more like a chant than a song. But yeah, I can type those up and send them to someone if you want. Any questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
Are there other books that you're experimenting with that, like, because this is like such a nice strong link, you could do it with or without the book, but are there any other books that you're like, yes, we're really grooving because there's like a strong thing we can pull from it?
Do you mean specifically around those puppet songs or?
Yeah,
anything.
Well, it's kind of both, but I'll narrow it. If you were going to do more puppet exploration, like for a second week, what other books might you use?
Okay, just off the top of my head, maybe The Very Hungry Caterpillar too. What else did we do? A book specifically. You know, any book, because any character can be the puppet, really, whatever book you like, you think, I mean, I do find that they do enjoy hearing stories online anyway, just as they do in person. You know, I mean, I have a couple songs too with the puppets that we did. Anything that you do, because if you just have a plain sock, one thing I'll say is do a little abracadabra chant in between changing animals or characters or something. Abracadabra, zimbelly bim, turn my kitty into a puppy or whatever it is. And I'll say that work translates well too and kind of helps them get over changing to something else. But anyway, you know, if I have to go through my head and my notes, and when I email you the chant words, if I think of another book that translated well with the sock puppets, I'll send that too.
That's great. And I see there's some books going up in the chat too. So that's
good. Oh yeah, Elephant and Piggy. Yeah, totally. Mo Willems is like a script, right? There's just text lines in what he writes. So he's great. This is one thing I did adapt. We Are in a Book, which the real play, which maybe you know already, was adapted from that too. We read that story and then we changed it to We Are in a Play, which is how they made the play anyway, but you know, just kind of adapt it on your own to, instead of We Are in a Book, We Are in a Play, you can change some of it to let's make the audience laugh and then tell a joke or something like that.
I have a question. Cookies and milk, muffins and jam. Did you create that specifically inspired by this story, or like do you also maybe like, or could you rhyme it with another word? Like, would you do a different 4 words for?
Definitely, you could. I think it was. Oh, I know what it was originally when I found it online was peanut butter and jelly or something like that. I don't even remember now, but it was something else totally, and I just changed it to the 2 that I thought would rhyme and work for myself. So you absolutely could change it. You could absolutely change it.
Awesome. We have like 20 more seconds. I'm being very strict, clearly. Karina's next, but does anyone else have any other thoughts? We can also keep writing in the chat. I see lots of good stuff is coming in. Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks.
All right. Karina.
Hello. So I do have a quick question. Is it all right if I change my game that I am sharing? Sweet. Okay. Awesome. Excellent. I just realized that, oh my goodness, my previous game was probably for a little bit of an older age group. Okay, so this one is one of my absolute favorites. I always use this one as a quick energizer before we get into our acting classes or their classes with our young humans. So it's to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It, but it's alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. And movements that go with it are we're going to touch our head with alive, our shoulders with awake, our waist with alert, and then usually you would touch your toes for enthusiastic, or you could just clap your hands, whichever is more accessible to you. So how it goes is I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert. I'm alert, awake, alive. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. And then what we can do is we can do it in fast motion, or we could also do it in slow motion. So let's try slow motion first. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert. I'm alert, awake, alive. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. And now let's try fast motion. Ready? Here we go. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. I'm alive, awake, alert. I'm alert, awake, alive. I'm alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. Yeah. And then something that we would also do is we would have them try and match our speed. So maybe the beginning of the activity goes in super slow motion, and then we speed it up towards the end. And then sometimes we have the students lead it if they want to instead. But that's what I have. That's my game.
Karina, there has been a request for you to share your game for older students too.
Oh my gosh, I would love to. Okay, so this one will be super quick. So, my friends, look to your left and look to your right and look back to the screen. Now, I want you to grab an object either to your left or to your right that was the most interesting to you. And go ahead and hold it up to the camera. Some of us might be familiar with what these objects are. I see some napkins, I see a sock, I see a pen, and I see a fish. Ooh, that's a beautiful fish. Well, for this game, these are no longer objects that we are familiar with. Instead, we are going to use our imagination to create this object into anything we want it to be, okay? So, for example, I'm going to say this is not a napkin, because we all know this is a napkin. So this is not a napkin, but this is my superhero cape. Would anyone else like to share their object and what they would like to turn it into? Ooh, Ashley.
This is not a sock. This is my headband. What do I do?
I love it. It's beautiful. I love it. Would anyone else like to share one more object, maybe? Yes, April.
This is not my purple marker. It is a pogo stick for my dolls.
Yeah, awesome. And then something that if the students have enough space, so for our older students, we call this box time, where it's just like from their shoulder to the top of their head. Sometimes we'll ask them if it's an object that you can use your whole body with, if you could step out of body time so we can see from the top of their head to maybe their waist or their knees. And then they could show us how they would use the object. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for letting me share.
That was awesome, Karina. Did you say box time and body time? Yeah. I've had, oh, you go. Okay. I've had success with early childhood with doing object transformation, or and also friends look around the room and you have 30 seconds to find something red or find something yellow and then bring it back. And also I've had great success like with yoga. We did pirate yoga and we found treasure. And so I had them find a treasure in their room. And then we did Shavasana, holding it over their hearts. So I think that's really fun to think about, like you're in this room and you have all these objects and come show it. Show and tell is very exciting. Any other questions, or we can pop them into the chat too. Dylan is next. Yay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I'll set my timer. Thank you so much, by the way. These ideas have been amazing. So thank you so much for sharing. What I'm going to share with you is a game that is really adaptable to anything. It's called Color Conductor, any like music or movement or drama for almost any age, but I've used it with kindergarten and 4-year-olds, pre-K. And it's called Color Conductor. What I have is like I laminated different sheets of construction paper that are all different colors. And you should start really simple, I think, to use just 2 colors, red and green. And you teach the kids that it stands for an action. But the colors are going to tell you what to do. The colors conduct, and you're not allowed to say anything. It's an absolute quiet activity. And it works online too, because they're in their home and they just have to look up at the screen. So like green will mean walk and red will mean freeze. And so I'll hold it up and then switch. And when we're there together, it's easy to have the kids start being the conductor. But you know, while online, they can make one at home. I've suggested to do this at home. But then, so what we do is we'll make blue skip. And, oh, this is purple. It's hard to tell. I'm looking at that. So blue is skip. Brown is gallop. Pink is hop. So I'll just like leave it at that. I also have like a mystery color they can make up an activity to do for that color. So I'll hold it up, and then, so they'll be freezing, and then walk, skip, gallop, and it's really fun because they can do it in their own apartment, and that's basically it for Color Conductor. But I just love it because it's a great activity. They get excited about it. They're very engaged by it, and it lasts a long time. Any questions?
Not a question. I just wanted to add that I sometimes do this exact thing. I've done it on Zoom too, but I've done it in person. I do it with books and characters, and so we explore the different characters and how they move and lines they might say. It's like I've done it with Where the Wild Things Are or like Swimmy, and we take a look at the different characters and what they might move, and I'll play music too to go with each color and with each character. And it's just a deeper exploration.
How do you facilitate that with the music?
So when a card goes up, I've just pressed the music that goes. So if we're doing like Where the Wild Things Are, we'll talk about like what Max might move like, and maybe he's sneaky, maybe he's mischievous. What does that look like? Maybe we'll tiptoe, maybe we'd look around, maybe we'd giggle, right? For the Wild Things, we're gonna move heavy and stomp, and maybe we'll have claws, or in the book they say they gnash their teeth, maybe we'll gnash our teeth. And I'll have a different piece of music. As I put up the card, I play the music, and then that will take us into devising for that story. And we'll devise a play with using those color cards, so that it's something always pulling back to the beginning, but I'll narrate throughout as well. So
that's great. Someone asked me to repeat the actions. So you can do freeze, and I do hop. I mean, you can have the kids decide, and then this is a game they can recall which color goes with which activity. And I've built it up over each week. So we'll start with 2, and then the next week we'll add 3, and then 4, and then 5, and pretty soon they have them all. So I use this for walk. This would be skip. Brown would be gallop. Purple, I think, was jump. And yellow was slow motion, which is my favorite one. I always tell them slow motion, so they like to repeat that. And then orange is the mystery color. So I'll ask somebody to volunteer or something, and they'll do great things, like they be a pumpkin or turn into, or roll, or go into downward dog. They'll just like make up an action that'll be different every week we do it.
Question. Is this a like from one side of the room to the other side of the room activity? No.
You can do it that way, but I like to let them explore the space. And before I introduce the game, we'll do like a lot of space exercises where you have to move in your own personal space and have a bubble around you and move around, so that I want them to be aware of each other's bodies and how to move in a group without crashing into each other. So yeah. It's a great, vocal control, body awareness. And also as a movement teacher, I have to make sure they know how to skip and hop and jump and what those differences are. And sometimes we'll practice that. So I can easily scan the room and see if anybody's having an issue with skipping or hopping. And maybe I'll do a game where they focus more on those skills.
Cool. Any other questions or thoughts about this? And you said it's called Color Conductor.
Color Conductor. And I love to get, like, once, the kids get it, they love being in the conductor. So what I'll do to facilitate that is I kind of fan the cards, because for them to switch, and it's hard for them to choose really fast. So I'll hold it out, and they have to like pick one out and hold it up. And then I let them do like 3 colors as a turn. And if they are still looking at the cards trying to decide what color, I'll just go 3, 2, 1, and they'll pick it, because it kind of has to change really fast. And it's hard to get the kids not to be vocal or say, oh, that's skip. So it's a great self-control exercise too for little ones, because, it's like you can also watch your friends, but you have to turn your voice to 0. I love doing it, and the kids they get very excited when it's Color Conductor, and I don't do it often enough, so I'm always trying new things.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dylan.
Thanks for letting me share.
Amanda, you are up.
Yes, I'm gonna move myself out here. I like this box time, body time, so I'm gonna go to body time, and now you can see most of my living room. Cool, y'all. So I specialize in early childhood dance, but it does not matter if dance is your groove or not. I think this kind of works however you want it to. So this is called, I call it sleeping dancers. But basically, when we used to be in the studio, I have a big bundle of scarves, right, that I would hand out, and so that's not a possibility anymore. So the first thing, I do this with as young as 18 months, and that's if it's a caregiver-child pairing. So if you're doing classes like that where the caregiver's always in the room, fabulous. But I also do it with students up to 6, and then they hit a pocket, right, really at like 4, where they can be on their own and they don't need a caregiver anymore. So the first thing I tell caregivers, options, right, it can be a scarf. It can be, now this is kind of heavy, right? It's not going to kind of have like the beautiful movement quality that dancing scarf would have, but I've been telling families to go pull blouses out of their closets, because like this is just a blouse but it has a little bit more to it when it moves. But also if there's a blanket that's really loved, and that's going to be the motivator. If you're doing caregiver and child, they should both have their own, is really important. So the first thing that I do is just ask them to get cozied up with their blanket or their scarf. Now I do this with me demoing my body out here and then running back to do my music. So it's like a bit athletic. You don't have to demo, especially if you've got caregivers with you. But so I'll say, okay, we're going to get all snuggled up. So we'll get, and I tell them to take their time. You really want to give them the time they need to get cozy on the ground underneath. And I say to them, in a moment, something's going to happen. You're going to hear some music. And when you do, sleeping dancers, you're going to wake up. And then I say, and when you wake up, we're going to move around the room. And this first one is kind of a free-for-all. The idea is to help them keep this in their hands. So they're moving their body around while still connected to their scarf, their blanket, whatever you want to call it. So I'll say, when that music starts, I want to see you move your body and take that scarf with you and see what it can do. And if you've got caregivers, they're going to be those demoers, right, that your small folk are going to look to them. So I'll hit that music and whew, I'll say, wake up dancers. And I'm not going to take us through all the, I'll just talk through a lot of it. So we wake up. And I use my Spotify account and I pipe it directly in through Zoom. So it gets rid of the tinny quality, but it means I can't talk over it because the sound will opt for my computer instead of my voice. So I don't give any instruction while the music's on. So I have to give the prompts ahead of time. And so then I'll pause the music and I'll say, go to sleep dancers, go to sleep. And then the idea is that we lay back down. So it's not super dissimilar from freeze dance, but it has some different anchored qualities. And same thing, I'll say, take your time, get snuggled under there, take your time. And if I can see them, I'll say, oh, I see some people that are laying on their stomachs. I see some people laying on their backs. So I can also give some like observational feedback to give some friends who maybe, I mean, there are some friends who really need this to be perfect over them every time before they will move forward. And so then I'll repeat it again, right? In a moment, something's going to happen. You're going to hear some music, but this time, and then I'm going to start to layer in prompts. So this time we're going to see if when we move, we can stay way down low to the ground. And so then I might say, you might crawl, you might roll, you might scoot. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't wait to see it. So then those words are not necessarily, my 2-year-old isn't going to go, oh, she said I should crawl and scoot. Those are cue words for the parents who go, what do you want me to do, lady? I'm down low on the ground. And so if then they hear scoot, roll, crawl, they automatically have something to latch onto. And then again, I'm out here demoing the whole time. Same thing, music goes off, boom, go to sleep dancers. So the different frames I'll walk them through are, the first one's always open. The second one, and you do not have to do it in this order, this is just what my brain usually does, is down low. And that's rolling, crawling, scooting. And again, I'm happy to write all this out for you because I know I talk fast. Then we go to up high. So that might mean jumping, it might mean hopping, tiptoes, and then also throwing that scarf in the air and either catching it or seeing what happens as it hits the ground. And then you can also take it to, okay, this time we're going to take our scarves and make them into fabulous animals, right? So then we've got, you know, some of them, I usually always demo something kind of weird like a snake because their go-to is like often going to be like cats and dogs because they're in their homes. So we'll do animals, and then sometimes we'll do costumes as well, right? So all the ways in which they can attach this to their bodies, especially if they have a caregiver that can help them. And then you can really go on for as long as you'd like to. The key is I play different music every single time. I use music that's I don't use music with words because I'm really, especially if I am able to repeat, I want to be able to say, I see people rolling, I see people. So if you don't pipe it through Zoom, they'll be able to hear you better if you do want to do observational stuff over the top of it. And then you can close out scarf time. And it might be too, if this is something you develop with your families over and over again, maybe there's a special place the scarf lives throughout the week, and then it's time to get it out so that they know what we're up to. The other thing you can do too, and I'll kick this in with like 5 and 6-year-olds, is that then this becomes a tool for travel. So we'll go to the Arctic, and our focus there is close huddles because we're cold, digging down in the snow. So it's the same thing, right? You're adding in those actions, but it's layered inside an adventure. So sometimes I'll do Arctic, I'll do desert, right? So it's really hot and we have to shade ourselves. So you can also frame it as a traveling tool if you want to. For the small folk, it's too many layers. I see people. Oh, music. Yeah, that's a big one. So I have a Spotify playlist I just had going for years that's filled with all the instrumental music that I love. Some artists, I'll spout them out, but I can also type them when I'm not saying stuff. Penguin Cafe Orchestra is really great. That's a nice one. Jan Tiersen, that's Y-A-N-N. He does like soundtracks for like Amelie and some really incredible movies. He's one that I pull from a lot. Zap Mama is another like incredible, and it's all either in another language or they'll even do nonsense sounds. So you're still hearing human voice, but you're not attaching meaning to it. And I'll throw out, it also depends on what your groove is. I play a lot of like, I don't know, I also have, what's in here? It gets pretty widespread. Mr. Scruff is another one I'll play sometimes. Explosions in the Sky. Rat-a-tat. There's a whole bunch of them. So that's something I'm happy to, when I type all this up for y'all, I can do a big list of my favorites.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I wrote Penguin Cafe Orchestra, and then you said it, and then I realized I know it because of you. Does anyone else have any other thoughts or questions for Amanda? We have about 9 minutes left. Oh, great. Dylan?
I have a way to share music through Zoom that you don't have the video pop up. So I don't know if anybody knows about this, but if you go into your share screen, up at the top, there's a little toggle. Do you know about this, Amanda?
Yep, that's what I use.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you couldn't talk over it, because I find that I can.
I find for some reason, I mean, especially like, so I also teach contemporary dance to older students. They can't hear counts or a lot of things usually. I don't know if it's my computer specifics, but in our dance program, most of the teachers have found that if they're sharing their audio, the computer prefers the music over your vocals.
Oh, I never noticed. I'm talking, doing the class, and I never noticed if they can or can't hear me. So if everyone knows how to do that, that's awesome that you can share music through the Zoom and not have to have the video pop up.
Yeah. Can you finish explaining what to do? Because I didn't know how to do that.
When you push your share screen, you get a pop-up that lets you choose which screen to share. But at the very tippy top, there's like a toggle, and it says Basic Advanced. If you choose Advanced, you'll get a Share Computer Audio to click, and then you only get your audio, and you can still lead the class.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I was excited to discover that.
It's definitely like night and day, y'all, in terms of sound quality. Yeah, Susan?
Sorry, I was just observing, but if you have 2 minutes, can I share something? Okay, I have done this for teacher workshops from K on up, and it's a body sequence game, but then you use it when they're older for story sequence. And I don't have it with me, it's up in Canada, but I start off with a 5x8 card, and the one card has maybe the eyes, just the eyes. And the next person, they learn cues and sequencing. Another person in the circle has eyes at the top of their card, which is the cue, and the bottom might be their fingers. So they do something with their fingers. When somebody in the room sees they have fingers at the top of their card and somebody has done fingers, their cue is what's on the bottom of their card, like feet. So they start moving their feet. Then person 4, whoever that is, sees feet at the top of their card. They look for somebody moving feet and they move their elbows. So it teaches cues, listening, body parts, all of that. And then the last person has the whole body on it. So their cue might have been toes, and then your cue is the whole body. So you get up and do the whole body. So going back to the first exercise where we had, your fingers, your hands. And then when the children are older, you do that with a story. Somebody stands up and hunts for a bus. And your cue is somebody's looking for a bus. You stop the bus. And the next person, somebody's stopping a bus. You are the driver. You open the door, like that.
Can, Susan.
Did that get too confusing?
No, that was brilliant. Every single person has a card?
Yes.
Okay, and you make them? Like you draw them?
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm not an artist, so I've had to find them online. But there are 2 cards that only show one thing. The very end card shows the whole body, and the beginning card, nobody knows what cards they get, shows one body part. It could even be the face, or it could be just your ear. And then everybody else has a card divided top and bottom. The top is their cue, what they look for, and the bottom is their sequence, what they themselves contribute.
Very nice. Would you introduce, how would you introduce that?
Well, I give out the cards first. We sit in a circle. It's hard online. Okay, well, online, good question, because that's what this is all about, and I'm learning it too. So I would hold, oh my gosh, I guess I would have to assign the little kids that. And I would have to hold it up like she did with the color conductor, and hold up and say, okay, Amanda, you have, I thought of it before you asked me that question. You have, or I could lead each one too. And then each of you, I say, you have toes, you have eyes, you have ears, you have the whole body. So I'm going to hold up, I'm going to do something with my toes. So who has toes? Okay, now you, well, now you do something with fingers. Now, who has fingers? Jenna maybe has fingers. Okay, Jenna, can you do something with your fingers? All right, and then who has tongue? Joey has tongue. So you would have to adapt it to that. I'm still learning all this online stuff too, but I think it can translate with you running it rather than the children running it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's all very tricky, and it's all thinking about like teacher led, but then how do you also, you want your students, you want their voices to be heard, and you want to give them so many opportunities to be like helping lead your drama class, but then you have 29 minutes and it's all, a weird, wild world that we're in. We have 2 minutes left. Is there anyone else who is like, I feel so inspired, I want to share something? Or any other questions?
There is a question that's up on the chat, Ashley, about where they can find these resources. If our presenters will just do a quick little bitty boop boop boop, we can even send, Ashley and I will talk after this. Maybe we'll just send out a quick Google Doc that you can all throw them in, and we'll make sure they get shared through AATE to you all.
And who was from Maine? Is that Pam? Oh,
I was.
Julianne?
Yeah.
Susan wants to connect with you.
Yay! Hi, Susan. Woohoo! That'd be awesome.
Oh, Lisa, thank you. Does anyone have anything like that they love to close their Zoom classes with? Yeah, Naomi. Is it Naomi or Naomi?
I say Naomi, but I don't mind either way.
Would you like to share how you're ending class?
I would love to. It's mostly with my little ones, but I've actually found that it works with older ones because they like to be little sometimes too. I'm not going to take it all the way through, but what I say is, okay, so can everyone please grab, we have here some magical fairy dust. Can everyone grab their magical fairy dust and hold it here and make sure it doesn't get everywhere until I say 3. Okay, and on 3, we're going to count together. On 3, I'd like you to blow your magical fairy dust, okay? 1, 2, 3. And then I click end meeting, and I feel like it's just a nicer way to say goodbye without like awkward, like, I don't know if it's goodbye, I don't know what's happening. So on 3, our magical fairy dust is going to take us out of this meeting. I stole that from a friend. I didn't make that up. I stole it from a friend, and I love it, and my kids love it too.
That's beautiful. I love that. I totally feel that. Like, bye, bye, bye. Oh my gosh, where is the red button? Bye, bye. Thank you. Karina. Oh, okay. I can click the link and also like text it to you. Karina.
I have a goodbye song.
You do? Was that Karen?
Yes. That's Karen, yes.
Karen, would you like to
the kids love to hear their names. And so we do an open shut them song, just that we normally do. And when I get to the end, I'll sing, goodbye, Josiah, so good to see you. Goodbye to Chelsea, so good to see you. Goodbye to Hannah, so good to see you. Goodbye to Nathan, so good to see you. And then goodbye, everybody, so good to see you. Say goodbye, everybody, so good to see you. And they all say goodbye, and that's pretty much it. My goodbye song.
Thanks, Karen.
That was great. I love learning new hello and goodbye songs. Well, it's 4:01, so goodbye, Early Child Network. So good to see you.
Love it. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Oh, thank you everybody so much. Click on the link for Amanda's Spotify playlist. We'll try to share things out in a Google Doc, and join the Facebook group or email us if you're not part of it.